My new hire sat on my desk, made a come back to bed joke. Now my wife thinks I cheated and everyone at work saw it coming but me. I really need some advice right now, and I'm hoping this is the right place to get it. Mods, please don't remove this, I'm honestly desperate. I know this is a long one, but every detail matters. My marriage could be hanging by a thread here, and I'm just trying to figure out what the hell to do. My wife and I have been married for 2 years, but we've been together for 8. She's never been the jealous type until recently. And man, I don't even recognize her right now. This whole thing has completely thrown me off, and I'm stuck. So here's what's going on. I started a new job about a year ago. It's a management role, and a big part of it involves recruiting. I've actually been doing pretty well building a team, hitting targets, and I'm getting really close to landing a big promotion. It's something I've been grinding toward for a while. The pay's been solid too, which has allowed my wife and me to level up our lifestyle. We finally bought the house we'd been dreaming about, took a few weekend trips just for fun, and I even surprised her with a new car for her birthday. Things were good. Really good. Until this mess started. Our relationship has always been strong. We actually met at a friend's party. She spilled her drink on me and then spent the next 20 minutes apologizing. I thought it was cute how flustered she got. We exchanged numbers, kept talking, and the rest just kind of happened naturally. She's always backed me up when it came to my career. When I was struggling at my old job, she was the one who pushed me to apply for this new opportunity. She believed in me even when I didn't believe in myself. And that's why all of this is so confusing, because she's never been like this before. Now, one of my most recent hires is a young woman. Let's call her NG. She's been great for the team, brings in solid numbers, learns quickly, and overall just brings a fun energy to the office. Yeah, she's attractive, I won't lie, but I'm married. I love my wife. I would never do anything to mess that up, and honestly, my wife is more attractive anyway, not that that even matters. But here's where things get weird. My wife absolutely can't stand NG. And that's just not like her. I've had female friends and co-workers before, even attractive ones, and it's never been a problem. But with NG? It's like a switch flipped. Lately, we've been arguing constantly. Like, full-on fights, multiple times a week. My wife keeps saying there's something off about NG and that she doesn't trust her. But I swear, I've seen nothing sketchy. NG is professional, friendly with everyone, and as far as I can tell, just a normal co-worker. Then one night, my wife went through my work phone. I had no issue with that, I've got nothing to hide. She saw some texts between me and NG, all of which were about work, meeting times, client updates, regular stuff. But she still got upset. She fixated on the fact that NG was texting me around 8 p.m. I explained that we were putting the final touches on a presentation for the next day. Totally legit. But she wasn't buying it. She's convinced something's going on, even though there isn't. Part of leading a team, especially in this company, involves building relationships outside the office too. The higher-ups actually encourage it. They even cover expenses for monthly team bonding nights, where we go out for drinks or dinner in a more relaxed setting. Spouses are always welcome, it's meant to be a fun way to connect. My wife usually joins and has a good time. She gets along great with most of the team. But about 3 weeks ago, we had one of these nights planned. Thing is, 2 groups were out on business trips, so it ended up being just me, NG, and one new guy. Then the new guy had to bail last minute, his kid got sick or something, so it was just me and NG. Normally my wife would come along, but she had to work that night. NG suggested we still go grab some wings and a couple drinks at the sports bar nearby. I figured, why not? We're adults. Grabbing food with a coworker isn't a big deal. If it had been one of the guys, no one would think twice. During dinner, my wife called to say she got off work early and could swing by. I told her maybe she should skip this one, since it ended up just being NG and me. I didn't want to make NG feel awkward by suddenly turning it into a couples thing when she was expecting a team hangout. I honestly thought my wife would understand. She didn't. And then NG decided to be funny while I was on the phone and shouted something like, "Come back to bed." Clearly a joke, but totally inappropriate. My wife heard it and immediately got pissed. I didn't want to argue with her on the phone in front of NG, so I ended the call quickly. Later, I pulled NG aside and told her flat out that what she said wasn't funny, and it definitely wasn't professional. I asked her to keep things respectful when dealing with anything tied to our business. She seemed to get it and apologized. We finished our drinks and I called it a night. NG wanted to check out another bar nearby, but I said I needed to get home. She made a little joke like, "Oh, someone's in trouble," but I ignored it, paid the bill, and left. When I got home, my wife went off. For a full hour. Why didn't I want her there? Why was I alone with NG? Why would NG say something like that? She just kept going and going. At some point, I tried to calm her down and said, "She's not even attractive, you don't have anything to worry about, I only love you." That made things worse. My wife said I was lying, and it just set her off even more. Eventually, she cooled off a bit. I thought maybe we were starting to move past it. For a few days, things seemed fine again. I stopped mentioning NG at all. She acted normal at work, no weird comments or anything. Then about a week later, I called a quick huddle with my team to go over some quarterly numbers. My office is tiny, just 2 chairs besides my own, so a couple people sat on the bookshelf, some leaned on the walls. I think there were like 7 of us squeezed in. NG was the last to come in, and she grabbed a seat on the edge of my desk, farthest from me. Again, nothing weird. She just had nowhere else to sit and was facing me while asking a question about the commission structure. That's when my wife walked in unannounced, with my charger and a Starbucks. She caught a glimpse of NG sitting on the desk, leaning in, talking to me. Nothing was going on, but that's all she saw. She didn't say a word. Just dropped the stuff on a random table and walked right out. I couldn't run after her, that would have looked bad in front of my team. So I finished the conversation with NG, then tried calling my wife. She didn't answer. It's not unusual for her to stop by, she brings me coffee or lunch now and then, but she's never reacted like that before. Later, when I got home, I found her in the shower, crying. I pulled the curtain back, totally confused, like, what the hell is going on? She was literally curled up in the bathtub, knees pulled into her chest, crying under the shower. And honestly, I thought the whole thing was just absurd. So yeah, I got frustrated and left the house. I ended up calling a couple of my buddies from work, just to cool off and vent a little, figured we'd hit the bar and blow off some steam. But wouldn't you know it, NG shows up too. Apparently, 2 of the guys I called were already hanging out with her at some happy hour thing. She walks in dressed up like she's heading to a date, full face of makeup, heels, nice dress, the whole 9 yards. I swear I had no clue she was going to be there. If I'd known, I probably wouldn't have shown up at all, given how tense things were with my wife. Of course, NG decides to take one of those big group selfies and posts it on Facebook. And yep, you guessed it, my wife sees it. We're all friends on there because of team events, so she was bound to come across it. She comments on the photo with that passive-aggressive sarcasm, "Nice to see you having so much fun." NG replies, "He's in good hands." Now, I know how that sounds. It sounds like something suggestive, but NG swears it wasn't meant that way. I talked to her the next day and she said she meant it as reassurance, like, "Don't worry, I've got this covered." She honestly didn't think it would be taken the wrong way. I believe her. I mean, the bar hangout wasn't even fun for me. I was distracted the whole time, worried about my wife. I had maybe 2 beers and went home early. But when I got there, she was already asleep, or maybe pretending to be. I crashed on the couch just to avoid another blow-up. The next day, I come home from work, and she's crying again. She accuses me of being willfully blind, like I'm purposely ignoring what's right in front of me. She says it's obvious NG has a thing for me, that she's creating tension, and that I'm just too stubborn or too stupid to see it. She asked to go through my phone again, and when I handed it over, she broke down even more, saying I clearly had something to hide. She also brought up that I lied about NG not being attractive, which just reignited everything. And now, she hasn't spoken a word to me in 2 days. I'm getting the full-on silent treatment. She just walks past me like I'm invisible. If I try to talk, she turns and walks away. She's been sleeping in the guest room. I've tried apologizing even though I still don't feel like I did anything wrong, but she won't hear it. I'm stuck here, feeling completely helpless. I haven't crossed any lines, and NG's done nothing that I can reasonably discipline her for. I can't just fire someone over this. What does my wife even expect me to do? It's starting to bleed into my work now. I'm distracted, stressed out, and way off my game. I nearly blew a big client call yesterday because I couldn't focus. Even my boss asked if everything was alright. I just told him it was personal stuff, no way I'm dragging this drama into the office. Everyone in my life has an opinion, and they all contradict each other. One friend says my wife is being overly insecure and I should just wait it out. My brother thinks I should fire NG just to keep the peace. My dad straight up called me an idiot for not seeing the obvious signs. And now I'm here, still confused, asking Reddit what the hell I'm supposed to do. Update 1. Okay, wow. I clearly underestimated how this would blow up. My inbox is toast. Some of you think I'm completely clueless, and others seem to think I'm some kind of scumbag. I can't reply to everyone, but I do want to clarify a few things. First off, I would never cheat on my wife. Ever. Yes, I can admit NG is attractive, objectively speaking, but I'm not into her. Especially not after all this drama. Her very presence has turned my entire life upside down. For those saying I should have let my wife come to that dinner? I hear you. But my thought process at the time was that she'd be tired after work and that it was going to be a short, casual thing. I didn't expect it to be just me and NG. And I never intended to hide anything. And yes, that come back to bed joke was out of line. I told her that immediately. What else was I supposed to do? Fire her for one dumb joke? That'd be extreme and probably illegal. Some of you asked about NG's overall behavior. She's bubbly. Yeah, maybe a bit too friendly sometimes, but that's just how she is, with everyone, not just me. I've seen her goof around with other coworkers and even sit on their desks. She's just trying to fit in. Second, I'm not a bad husband. My wife and I have been through some really rough stuff over the past 8 years. We got through her mom's cancer scare, thankfully, she's fine now, dealt with my job loss, endured a miscarriage together, which was one of the worst moments of our lives, and even had to move in with my parents for a while just to save for our first home. We've always made it through tough times together. This is just a new type of problem I've never dealt with before. To be totally honest, I'm starting to wonder if some of you might be right. Maybe NG is into me. I'm not arrogant enough to think everyone else is wrong and I'm the only one seeing things clearly. The fact that so many people, including my wife, are picking up on something I've missed makes me question my own judgment. I went back and thought through some things I didn't include in my original post. There was a time NG asked me to help her move some boxes from storage, which she probably could have done without help. She also once complimented my haircut and lightly touched my arm when she said it. Is that flirting? I really don't know. I'm not great at picking up signals. I've never had women throw themselves at me, so maybe I'm just bad at reading this stuff. But here's the part that's got me nervous. We don't have an HR department. We're a small company. Just my boss, a couple others at my level, and then our teams. It's mostly management and sales. And with the way this has all spiraled, I'm honestly worried it could get turned against me. What if NG gets mad or feels targeted and says I crossed a line? I haven't done anything inappropriate, but I am her superior, and I'm a guy, and people might not care about the facts. A lot of you are saying I need to choose between my wife and this employee. I get it, I do. But it's not that easy. This is my career. I've worked hard to get where I am. If I let NG go without legitimate cause, it could come back to bite me. If I tell my boss I want to get rid of her because of a personal conflict, I'll look completely unprofessional. Even if I just try to move her to another role, that might not solve anything, she could still stir things up, or worse, feel targeted and go nuclear. I want to fix things with my wife. She matters more to me than anything. But I also don't want to set a precedent where she dictates who I can or can't work with. That doesn't feel healthy either. I'm going to try again tonight, try to get her to sit down with me and talk it through like adults. I just want to reach a point where we can have a rational conversation again. If anything changes, I'll update. Update 2. So today, my wife's at least been speaking to me again. Kind of on and off, not exactly warm, but hey, it's better than being ignored completely. I've spent the whole day echoing some of your advice, apologizing, trying to show empathy and really listen. She's still not very interested in hearing me out, but at least the silent treatment seems to be over. That's progress, I guess. Also, I reassigned NG to a task that requires her to be out in the field most of this week under the supervision of someone else. I'm hoping that gives both sides some breathing room while I figure out what to do next. Right now, NG and I aren't supposed to have any contact while this all gets figured out. Honestly, that's for the best. I didn't want to have to see her while trying to sort through everything anyway. I ended up talking to one of my coworkers, a guy who's been with the company longer than I have. I casually asked what he thought about NG. He gave me this weird look and said, "Dude, come on. She's clearly into you. Everyone sees it." That hit me hard. Like, if it's that obvious to everyone else, how the hell did I not see it? I also had a quick chat with my boss. I didn't spill every detail, but I told him I was starting to have concerns about NG's professionalism. He was surprisingly open to the conversation and said we could go more in depth the next day. That gave me some hope that maybe there was a way to deal with this without tanking my entire career. When I got home that night, I tried to explain everything to my wife. I told her I hadn't understood what was really going on, but I do now. I showed her this post. I apologized, told her I was willing to do whatever it takes to fix things. I reassured her again and again that I never cheated. But she said she's not sure she believes me. She's also not sure I fully grasp how hurt she is, or why. After a long, tearful conversation and a lot of begging from me, this is what she said she needs: space. She asked me to move out for a while. No deadline, no return date. Just, out. It sucks. But I get it. She said she needs to clear her head without me constantly trying to convince her everything's fine. She also said we need counseling, both together and separately. Apparently, this isn't the first time I've failed to see things from her point of view. She said this situation is just the most obvious one, but it's part of a pattern. She told me she needs help trusting me again. She also mentioned something about my emotional intelligence being underdeveloped, which, honestly, I'm still trying to wrap my head around. Like a lot of people in the comments, she thinks NG needs to be out of the picture for good. Not just transferred, gone. She wants me to tell NG directly, and she even asked if she could listen in when I do it. That felt like too much. I told her I'd talk to my boss about options, but I wasn't comfortable with her listening to a work conversation. That didn't go over too well. Eventually, she said she's not even sure where this leaves us. Even if I do everything she's asking, she said she still doesn't know what she wants. She cried a lot. I felt useless. I love her. And I'm scared I might lose her. She brought up other times when she felt ignored or dismissed by me. Stuff I didn't even remember being a big deal. Like last year, her sister said something that really upset her, and I told her she was overreacting. She said that stuck with her. Then there was the time she wanted to redecorate the living room, and I just shut it down without really hearing her out. I didn't think either of those were big deals, but clearly, they were to her. So, tomorrow I'm going to have a serious talk with my boss about what to do next, whether that means letting NG go, transferring her, something. But my wife? She just wants her fired. No negotiation. Right now, I'm staying in a motel. It's a dump, thin walls, gross carpet, bed that feels like a rock. The couple next door fought for hours last night. Kind of fitting. I also called my dad. He told me straight up that I'm an idiot and I need to fix this, no matter what it takes. My parents really like my wife. My mom even called me just to yell at me. That was fun. Then, to make things worse, NG texted me late last night asking why I handed off her assignment to someone else. I didn't answer. She texted again this morning asking if something was wrong and saying we should talk. Still didn't reply. I honestly have no clue what to say. Update 3. Had the meeting with my boss this morning. It went, surprisingly well. I told him everything. How NG had crossed lines. How it was blowing up my marriage. All of it. Turns out, he'd already had his own concerns. Said he'd noticed some questionable behavior from her too, especially with certain clients. Apparently, she's been a little too flirty, which is definitely not good for business. Since she's still in her probationary period, we agreed it would be best to let her go. No detailed reason needed. He suggested we record the termination conversation for legal coverage, which I agreed to. When I told my wife about it, she seemed genuinely pleased. She asked if she could listen to the recording afterward. I said yes, hoping that would help rebuild some of the trust we've lost. NG texted me all day asking to talk, wondering if I was mad at her, asking if she did something wrong. I didn't reply. My boss said it would be best to have the conversation in person with him present. Spent another night at the motel. Couldn't sleep. Paper-thin walls again. Ironic, I'm trying to save my marriage while some strangers next door scream at each other. Final update. Sorry this took a while. It's been a day. A lot has happened. So, NG took the firing about as well as I expected. She denied any intention of being inappropriate. She said it wasn't fair because other people joke around too. My boss cut in and told her that no one else had crossed that particular line and that she had already been warned. She kept insisting the good hands comment was harmless. But my boss reminded her that she's still under probation and that we didn't need a detailed reason to let her go. Then he turned to me and said, "Do you agree?" I said yes. The whole thing was tense. She kept looking at me like she wanted me to defend her. Then she hit me with a low blow. Asked if this was because of my wife's jealousy issues. That pissed me off. I told her flat out this was about her lack of professionalism, not my wife. My boss backed me up. She just kind of shrugged and said, "Well, I don't know what to say. Goodbye, I guess." Then as she was leaving, she threw in one last jab, something like, "In your dreams I'd be into you." My wife listened to the recording. I don't think it was what she wanted. She seemed disappointed, like she'd hoped I'd really lay into NG. And maybe I should've. But my boss was there, and we were trying to keep things professional. She was glad NG's gone, but then, she got weird. She started crying again and said she's still scared. Scared I might see NG again somehow. That with me staying in a motel, she has no idea what I'm doing. I didn't get it. I mean, NG was gone, I moved out, I did what she asked. What else could I do? I asked her that. She cried harder. Said she shouldn't have to explain why she's upset. I still don't fully understand. Did she want me to yell at NG? Admit something I didn't even do? I'm lost. I told her she had nothing to worry about, not that it seemed to matter. I even said I could come home and just stay in the spare room, if that helped. But she didn't want that either. Eventually, I just admitted that I had no idea what to do anymore. She said she didn't know either. I called my parents and asked if I could crash there for a while. They said yes. My wife actually seemed more okay with that. Probably because, in her words, I'd be supervised. I tried not to take offense. I get it. I'm the one who messed up. Before I left, we sat on the couch together. She was crying again. I reached for her, she didn't push me away this time. She asked me to hold her. And I did. We kissed. One thing led to another. You can fill in the blanks. But afterward, she told me to go pack up at the motel and head to my parents. She said she still loves me, but she's still angry and hurting. And honestly, I don't blame her. Sitting at my parents' now has been weird. My dad keeps giving me disappointed dad looks. My mom won't stop trying to give me marriage advice I never asked for. I feel like I'm 15 again. Not in a good way. Work's awkward too. Everyone knows NG is gone, and I'm pretty sure they all know why. No one said anything, but I've seen the glances. I peeked at NG's LinkedIn yesterday. I know I shouldn't have, but she's already got a new job. Fast turnaround, I guess. At least I don't have to worry about bumping into her again. My wife and I have our first counseling session scheduled for next week. I don't know how this is going to play out. I just know I'm trying. I really don't want to lose her. She said something that stuck with me. She said this whole situation showed her that I don't prioritize her feelings over other people's convenience. That's what hurt the most. And honestly, she's right. I always thought I was being fair and level-headed. Turns out, I was just being selfish. So for anyone wondering where we stand now, we're still kind of in limbo. I'm staying at my parents'. She's still at our house. We text during the day, mostly about bills or the dog or stuff around the house. We did have dinner once. It was stiff. Awkward. She says she needs more time. I'm trying to give it to her. If anyone's been through something like this and came out the other side okay, I'd really appreciate some advice. Because right now, I'm just doing my best not to lose the woman I love.